Welcome to our JDM RX7 build presented by Turn 14 Distribution. That's right, everyone. It's time for some Saturday morning reruns, but we think you'll really enjoy this one given just how sexy our freshly painted FD RX7 looks and how rowdy its high compression rotary engine sounds. That's right, guys, it's time to get down to work on our FD RX7, and man, am I ever excited about this one. If you know me, you know I'm an old rotary guy, and I am pumped to get this thing together, and we're gonna do that very quickly. And of course, the car has been freshly painted. As you would have seen a couple of months ago on our channel, we had our friends at FH Pro Collision in Brampton, Ontario paint it this very beautiful mica blue pearl, I believe is what it's called. I think it's a Spirit R color, and man, it gets my spirit pumped because this looks so good. And of course, before dropping it off for paint, we completely stripped the chassis inside and out and test fitted the 99 spec aero, including a carbon front lip and rear diffuser from Shine Auto, and a genuine 99 spec rear wing. That is more or less where we're at now, so I think it's time to get down to some work. And by work, I mean dressing up this freshly built, high compression, street ported 13B REW assembled by our buddy Joe Ferguson from RPM Motorsports. If you want more info on this engine, you can go back and see the complete Valvoline supported engine build series. It's worth noting here that we installed TurboSmart internal wastegate actuator and blow-off valve for improved boost control of this very spicy little Borg-Warner 7670 EFR turbocharger, chosen for maximum response rather than big power. Well, we are making progress here, piecing together our rotary. As you can see, we've put on the water housing and pump, vapor honed this, made it look super sexy. And as you can see with the turbo setup, we are using TurboSource's investment cast manifold, which is a twin scroll manifold, really beautiful design, designed specifically to work with these twin scroll EFR turbochargers. And we're using their internally gated turbocharger, basically because we don't want to deal with all the heat management in the engine bay of external gates, not to mention the extra plumbing and the space constraints in this engine bay. However, we are going to remove all of this stuff now because we've come to the realization that it's going to be easier to install the engine without the turbo on it. And there's just a lot of space constraints in a relatively small car and a relatively small engine bay. So this is going to come off now, and then we'll get to work at putting that engine in the bay. The keg is in the engine bay and the gearbox is attached and it's in the hole in the tunnel, so that is a victory.
Can I just say, look at the size of this engine.
Isn't it amazing?
From that aspect, this is the greatest engine ever built when you can fit it into an engine bay like this.
Yeah. Pete may have sounded very enthusiastic about the rotary experience there, but the truth is he found this whole installation rather frustrating. In fact, I think he would even admit that he's not super keen on doing another rotary build, but God knows I am. However, as you can see here, he's putting in the fuel system, all sourced from Radium Auto. With the fuel system wrapped up, it was time to use some Vibrant Performance line spacers to tidy everything up, and then it was time to reinstall that sexy turbo system. Oh yeah. In case you're wondering why all the OE aluminum parts look brand new, that's because when I wasn't doing this world-class camera work, I was vapor honing everything I could get my hands on.
Oh, progress has happened. Holy smokes. This engine comes together so easily when you've got so much space to work. As you guys just saw, I am tightening the belt here that has this full, FFE, full function engineering pulley, and that is because we've deleted the air pump that goes here because we've got the single turbo setup. You saw me bolt that up as well. By the way,
now it was time to install the Greddy V-mount intercooler kit, which includes everything you need, including mounting brackets, ducting, charge pipes, and of course the intercooler and radiator. I do want to mention that this car already looks amazing, and if you go back and see the car when we first got it, it was like a 13,000 Canadians, call it $10,000 car, which I know is very cheap by today's standards, but we bought it quite a few years ago before the market went nuts. It had a non-running engine. It was black with destroyed paint and a big dent in the back, so it has come a very long way since then. And it's really exciting to see it with this in the engine bay now. So. Since we went Greddy on the V-mount, it only made sense to keep an OG JDM with this trussed exhaust system, which is so beautifully and carefully made that even a bipedal ape like myself could install it. From there, Pete had to step in to fabricate a downpipe to connect the turbo to the exhaust, but not before wrapping it in DEI heat wrap to help contain all that flaming Doritos sweet chili heat. Jumping inside here to install our Haltech Elite 1500. This is the right choice for a single turbo 13B like we're running, but if you want to run the sequential turbos, then you need to go to their 2500. What started off as a request for a Deutsch connector has ended up with us bringing the car to Nam here, who is essentially our wiring guru of NV Auto. He had some good suggestions for us in terms of wiring up all the sensors, and really our big thing was we needed a Deutsch connector for the Haltech ignition harness, and we had to wire it in directly here. So Nam actually told us we needed, he did a relay here, right? Yeah. To connect everything else up and just did things the right way. With the wiring complete, that meant we could finally sauce this motor up with all the good stuff from Violate, including their Xerox brand coolant, using our airlift system, which draws all the air out of the engine and cooling system before drawing it back in under vacuum. As you can see, our freshly built 13B is pretty much ready to party, but we are waiting for a base map before we can do first startup. And that means we've got some time to kill here, PT. And as a result, we are gonna just finish everything else on here, starting with the suspension. So let's get this car up in the air and take off these horrible old Mazda 3 wheels and get all this old suspension junk out of there. If there's one regret I have about the way we built our RX-7, it's that we didn't refinish the front calipers, because I mean, God, just look at them. Terrible. For you JDM purists out there who are like, bro, are you about to remove Japanese-made coilovers from your right-hand drive FD? Well, yes, I am, and that's because look at them. These things are old and worn out, and in our experience, Fortunato 510s are a great option for any car that's going to see some track duty. Just wrapping up the alignment here, and as you can see, we've gone with a kind of a mild street/track alignment on it. 2.5 degrees in the front, two in the rear, 0 the toe out in the rear, and just put a tiny bit of toe out in the front to help with, you know, turn-in response and all that good stuff. But man, this car is looking mega good now. So let's get it on the ground and shoot the beauties. Seamus just did a bit of work here dialing in the idle air controller. Look at this thing. Yeah. Idling like a champion. We are on the dyno here at BMS Tuning in Hamilton, Ontario with our friend Radek from RS Tuning on the keyboard. he is not just a GTR tuner. He's actually got a real deep love for rotaries. He's built them, he's tuned them, so why not put his skills to use on this project as well? We're having a little bit of a issue with the mid-range. It's sort of grumpy. It's not making a whole bunch of power there. So
we are gapping plugs down to see if that's our issue. Essentially what we think is we're blowing out spark, and it's just causing the car to not run that great in the mid-range. As we get past about $5 grand, it becomes smooth. So this is our last ditch effort before we call it.
Well, there we have it. These are our final results. The good news is it made really good peak power. It made almost 370 at the wheel, which is above what we were expecting it to make.
What,
14 pounds? 14
tapering to like 13,
I would say
right?
it's averaging 13.7, yeah, 13.7 PSI.
That's
yeah.
very healthy.
Yeah.
Driving right-hand drive, man. Oh my God. Oh yeah.
And there you have it, folks. That is a wrap on our JDM RX7 build. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And yes, I am very sad that we sold this car, but it did go to a great Australian bloke who lives locally to us, and we know he's enjoying it thoroughly.